The AI revolution is here, and the future as we know it is getting a high-tech upgrade. And Google, Microsoft, and Apple are leading the charge with a new wave of advancements. From digital assistants to photo editing, AI is transforming the next generation of products. What we're seeing, I would say, is a once-in-a-generation shift in AI adoption. The transition from the phone you have in your pocket to what these companies are cooking up is as monumental as buying your first smartphone app. All of this, of course, is part of an effort to boost device sales to make up for the severe COVID hangover that crushed hardware revenue for several quarters. Let's start with Google. The company is known for adding AI to its smartphones, but it's ramping things up big time by making the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro the first phones to run Google's foundational generative AI models on device. That means the stuff that powers its AI in the cloud is coming to your pocket. That's not all Google's Assistant can do now. The device can answer phone calls with an uncannily human-sounding voice and pull up context-sensitive canned responses based on what the caller says. You can then use those to have the assistant reply on your behalf. Then there's Magic Editor, which lets you completely change your photos using AI. Got a pic of you shooting baskets and want to make it look like you're dunking like an NBA star? Magic Editor can do that. Microsoft, meanwhile, is bringing its AI-based Copilot to Windows, Outlook, and Microsoft 365. The AI software can summarize meetings, translate websites, write emails, and more. For now, it will do all of this from different Copilot apps, but eventually, Microsoft says it will roll all of this into one app to create a kind of high-tech digital assistant for all your needs. Finally, there's Apple, which is launching its new Double Tap feature for the Apple Watch. Double Tap uses machine learning algorithms to determine when you move your wrist and pinch your fingers to help you read and reply to texts or pause and unpause music with one hand. Predictive text is far more accurate across the board, and live voicemail transcribes voicemails as people leave them so you can see if the person calling has something pressing to tell you. Taken together, the moves are a clear sign that AI is becoming less of a concept and more of a concrete product you'll use every day. And this is crucial to investors in those companies who are betting on AI's future. We're still in the early stages of the AI takeover, but it's easy to see it isn't going away anytime soon. Our Investor's Guide is coming up with two key analysts on Wall Street to tell us how investors should navigate this space. But before we get there, let's talk about one company that's already doing this. Microsoft is bringing its AI-based Copilot to Windows, Outlook, and Microsoft 365. The AI software summarizes meetings, translates websites, and writes emails, and more. I spoke with Yusuf Mehdi, Microsoft Corporate Vice President, for more on this new innovation.
In this age of AI and Copilots, like you talked about, reimagining everything that we do, Windows, M365, Bing, Edge, and our Surface devices, and having those all really be AI first. And the second thing was the announcement of Copilot, which is the one single AI companion that you can use every day to ask questions, to create, and to take action.
So I guess, where is Copilot going to live? I know it's in Windows 11, it's in Bing, it's in Edge, Outlook. Where is it going to live for the average person? When are you going to interact with it?
Yeah. So the way to think about it is we want it to be everywhere that you need it. Right. So your everyday Copilot, it can be like one click and it's up as an assistant, but it's also going to be smart, so it'll pop up when you need it. So for example, if you go to highlight some text or you have a photo, Copilot will pop up and say, hey, do you need me to do something with this? Do you want me to copy it in? Do you want to summarize it? And we'll get smarter as the thing goes. So we'll know what actions to take on something that you select.
So I guess, there was a discussion of this new age of computing. I think Satya had said that, we had gone from the PC to the CP for Copilot. How does this change then computing for consumers and the enterprise?
Yeah, the way this changes is very profound. Is in the past you might say, oh, I got to boot up my operating system or do some things in my operating system, then I do some things in my apps, and then maybe I do some in the browser. Now, over time, you're going to end up going just to your Copilot. We think more and more that'll be the primary way that you will interface with all of these things, and it will be smart enough to know, hey, do I need something from this app? Do I need something from the internet? Do I need something from the operating system?
I guess when you look at this, you have Windows, you have the Copilot in there, you have Microsoft 365, you have the Copilot in there. When it comes to privacy and security, what can users expect?
Yeah, so we obviously put privacy and security at the highest order of importance for us. So a couple things people can expect. One is that we will protect your user identity and your privacy. We don't associate any of that data with you when it comes to doing AI. We will provide new capabilities like we demonstrated today, like the notion of personalized answers that are based on your chat history. And then you can get more tailored answers. So for example, if you are like me and you like golden retrievers and the Seahawks and you say, what's going on this weekend, we can give you better answers in your search results. But if you don't want that, you can turn it off. And then lastly, if you work at a company and you have confidential information, you can use a feature that we call Bing Chat Enterprise or Microsoft 365 Copilot. And then we will keep all that data private to your company. It doesn't ever go to the AI models. It doesn't train the AI model to no human looks at it.
And we've been kind of having this discussion about AI since February.
Yeah.
When Bing and Edge launched, it was the big unveil, getting the Chat GPT technology in there as well. I guess what is the uptake been like from Microsoft so far? How are people receiving it? How are enterprise customers receiving it? Because the announcement for 365 pricing for $30 per person was massive for Microsoft. So I guess what has the uptake been so far?
Yeah, so what I would say is two things. One is I'd say it's been phenomenal in terms of usage. Like we have a waiting list for my M365 that has a $30 per month per user adder, and people are lined up for it because they see the value, they want the value. We have millions of people using Bing Chat. We've had over 1 billion chats and 1 billion images created. And at the same time, I would say, look, we're on the early days of the adoption cycle. So think about when the PC first came out, or the iPhone first came out, or the internet first came out. There were some use cases. There were the early adopters that knew how to do it and use it, and then little by little, more and more people come on. We're there now, although it's going much faster than those in terms of adoption. And so it's exciting.
And, just as a final, on stage you kind of said that it reminded you of the 90s.
Yeah.
With kind of the explosion of new softwares, new types of computing. I guess, is this the future of the desktop, the PC? Like, is it going to be something where, I have my PC, I have my desktop, and I have my Copilot here, or is it going to be where, you're on Copilot and you're going to eventually kind of work through that primarily?
That's a good one. We're going to find out is the honest answer. But the way I think about it is more and more and more, you'll just have your AI assistant that you will probably interact with for a big part of how you use your PC. So, you'll wake up, you'll say, hey, summarize my emails of the day, tell me what's hot, tell me what I got to go take action on. Then you might say, tell me the news of the day. I need to create an email for my daughter. I need to get some things done. Hey, play some music for me. And so all that will be done through the Copilot. You won't be necessarily going start button, mouse clicking. You'll be doing that.
And that was Youssef Mehdi, Microsoft Corporate Vice President. Well, for much more on this discussion as companies battle over the next big thing in AI, where should you be putting your money? Let's bring in Tom Forte, who is the D.A. Davidson Managing Director and Senior Research Analyst, and Rohit Kulkarni, who is the Roth MKM Managing Director, alongside Yahoo Finance's tech editor, Dan Howley, here for the conversation. Great to have you all here for this discussion here. Tom, I want to go to you first. As we think about and evaluate AI, what is the top idea or top thing that investors should be keeping track of to define who are going to be the winners and losers in this AI trade?
Sure. So when I think about companies that have an opportunity to exploit artificial intelligence, I put Amazon at the top of the list. And if I was to liken what's going on with AI with the gold rush from many, many years ago, Amazon essentially selling the picks and shovels to the extent that they're enabling other enterprises to leverage AI with their cloud computing AWS effort, and then are essentially selling the gold to the extent that they're using AI at the company level to improve recommendations to consumers to drive e-commerce sales, and then over time to increase the level of automation at their fulfillment centers, which will help them manage labor expenses. So I'm looking for opportunities for companies to leverage AI. I think Amazon's an obvious choice there.
Tom, this is Dan. What does that mean for Amazon that they're working on these kind of AI-based chips? Does that mean that they'll eventually be able to sell them to competing firms, or maybe not competing firms, but partners? Will this kind of help them wean themselves off a reliance on NVIDIA chips? What does it mean that they're working on them? And I guess what does that mean for the broader industry when we see more of these companies, Microsoft is doing this as well, kind of diving into the area of AI chips?
So the chip shortage in AI is affecting everyone, including Amazon. The way that I think about it is it's an opportunity for them to alleviate the chip shortage, but also a way for Amazon to do things less expensively. So think of the vertical integration by having the AI chips created by Amazon. I think that's important from both a supply chain standpoint, to the extent that you're seeing, a bottleneck. People can't get enough chips to advance their AI related efforts. And then also from a cost standpoint, to the extent that I think it'll enable Amazon to do it at a lower expense rate.
Rohit, let's get you into the conversation here when we're talking about investment opportunities within the space. What do you think is the top play in AI right now?
Hey, thanks for having me. I think Google is kind of the godfather of AI, in my opinion. All that we are hearing from anybody who's doing anything on AI right now, that came out of Google many years back. Google has been doing large language models before people spelled out large language models, to be honest. And I think Google has various different ways of kind of monetizing AI and benefiting from AI over many years to come, in my opinion. For example, they have these chips similar to Amazon. Probably they are doing a job that's probably better than Amazon, maybe comparable. And I think Google has been training their models on their own chips longer than anybody else in the industry. Probably NVIDIA is the only one that comes closer. And then you stack up various different blocks of the tech stack over the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think Google has those blocks built out, and they're applying them internally probably better than many other companies. So I think if I had to pick one of the large mega caps that are kind of under the radar right now, NVIDIA is obviously above the radar. Google is under the radar, and that's the one I feel they have the capabilities, they have the history, they have the innovation, and they're obviously, in my opinion, the godfather of AI, no matter which way you cut it.
Rohit, I want to ask what that kind of means for the relationship between Google and Microsoft. Google, as you said, they're the reason why generative AI exists. Essentially because of the way they've developed models over time, these transformation models. So I guess with Microsoft going forward with OpenAI, really, I mean, just piling AI into everything they have to offer, seemingly ahead of Google, where does that leave Google then? They are the godfather of this, but it just feels as though they're not rolling out the technology to their enterprise consumers or regular consumers as fast as Microsoft can.
I agree, as in they are probably, given the current stage of where each of these mega caps have started to roll out features or AI-enabled products into their enterprise and consumer user basis. Google is probably a little bit behind Microsoft. That's what it makes that much more attractive, given the track record. They have gone through evolutions of developing consumer use cases unlike many others. So probably search, which is the gateway to internet, and Google controls that to a large degree. That has the potential of highest disruption and the highest benefit both ways. And that's where I feel in the next, call it 6 to 12 months, we're going to see innovations in search, followed by various different innovations in how we consume video, how video gets created, how audio gets created, all those various different innovations that we are going to see come out of Google. That should, given they're behind the curve a bit, that makes value creation that much more imminent.
Now, Tom, you also have an artificial intelligence wildcard, and from way downtown here. So tell us about this wildcard and why investors should be keeping this on their radar.
Sure. So a lot of people look at Wayfair and they think about home e-commerce products. I look at Wayfair and think of it as a technology company focused on home e-commerce products. So what I like is they have practical use cases for artificial intelligence. One is to enhance the customer service to the extent that they can use generative AI to improve the quality of the responses that the human customer service agents give to customers at Wayfair. The second is to the extent that they have a very large catalog on millions of products on their platform, and they can leverage artificial intelligence to enable consumers to take pictures. They can take a picture of a bar stool. They can find out if Wayfair sells that bar stool or similar ones, things of that nature. So I like Wayfair as a technology company that's thoughtfully using artificial intelligence, and that's my wildcard pick.
I guess, how does that line up with something you would see from Amazon, right? Or even Google? Google allows you to search for things, use Google Lens, it uses AI. You can go into Google Shopping and get a chair, a couch, a coffee table, whatever. Same thing on Amazon with the kind of way you were describing placing something virtually in your home. How does that then line up with those? I guess, is it going to be able to keep up with what a powerhouse like Google or Amazon have to offer?
The answer, I believe, is yes, to the extent that they have the Castlegate warehouse system at Wayfair, and that enables them to have the logistics element, get the product to the consumer. When you think about Amazon versus Wayfair, Amazon also has fulfillment centers, but a lot of their fulfillment centers are built for smaller items, not bulkier furniture type things of that nature. And I think Google has wonderful technology, but would require a third party when it came to logistics to get the product to the consumer. So I think that logistics advantage for Wayfair is what helps them versus Amazon, which is built for smaller items, not bigger items like furniture, and helps them versus Google, which is dependent on a third party to get the product to the consumer ultimately.
Rohit, when we talk about the growth opportunity here for AI, the fact that it obviously is a massive priority here for so many of these tech giants, how important do you think, or I guess how critical do you think the M&A factor is going to be? Because we certainly have seen a growing appetite here from some of the larger firms buying up some of the smaller startup firms that are making inroads within this space. Is this something that you see trending to the upside or an uptick in activity over the next several quarters?
M&A would definitely be something that larger companies would be exploring. Again, I feel right now private company valuations, AI native private companies are experiencing a tremendous uptick in private capital that's leading to their valuations going out of control. So I feel there is going to be greater appetite for M&A, but beyond the current hype cycle, beyond the current phase that we are in, perhaps we can talk in 6 months. That's when we should see some extra M&A once we are at a point where the economic models, the cost structure, the adoption curve, all these things start to flow in tandem, where we have a new steady state and a new understanding of how the next 2 to 4 years are going to unfold. Right now, we see them in a lull period where a lot of enterprises want to do AI, want to adopt AI, but they are unsure about the privacy, the data security, the various different hallucination-related issues, and even the cost structure of these AI models. So once they start to stabilize, they will stabilize. Perhaps in the next 3, 6, 9 months, we should start them to kind of tinker around M&A to accelerate that adoption curve. So yes, yes would be the answer. Just wait for 6 months.
Rohit, I just want to ask you, outside of the chip space, we'll just leave that on its own. On the software side of things with AI, who's the leader? I mean, we talk about Google being the godfather. Amazon's obviously been using AI for years. So has Microsoft, although they had to go out and get OpenAI to really kind of compete directly in this space. Who is the leader as far as the software goes right now?
In my opinion, like if you look across kind of oversimplifying, but horizontal software versus vertical software, there are various different productivity tools going horizontally across the various functions and various industries. In my opinion, if you look at a company like a Salesforce, which is creating horizontal tools and improving productivity across every step of the marketing and advertising funnel, a company like that is something that should increase kind of the value prop they have to their existing user base of customers. And at the end of the day, I feel if you have distribution, if you have scale, smallest amount of productivity improvement in horizontal apps is going to lead to amplified impact on their customers. So that's where I would look around for the next leg of winners: horizontal software applications with large distribution workforces, and Salesforce is one that comes to mind, because they are going to add these small, tiny little bells and whistles, and that is going to create an amplified impact. And come next year, we are going to see that happen.
Rohit Kulkarni and Tom Forte, thanks to both of you for giving us some insight on some of the best ways that you see to play AI. Thanks.
Thank you.